What's up, guys? It is Wednesday, March 22nd. It is 10:31 a.m. and this is the crypto market update. So we're going to start off with the bond yields, go into the dollar, go into Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then we'll cover some altcoins. So if you're new here, subscribe, hit the notification bell, get updated in real time when we drop these market updates, newsletters, and deep dives. So let's get into it. So if we go to the one-day chart on the bond yields, right now, we're finding that support still in the 200-day moving average. We want to just break down below it, and then it would be game on as far as a continuation downwards for the bond yields. Today, I believe we actually have the Federal Reserve meeting. So it's at 2 o'clock usually. So it's going to be one of those whipsaw volatile days. So we'll have to see how it pans out. But right now, yep, you can see that that's an area of extreme support right there at 3.33%, where we found, oh, let me bring that up a little bit, actually. 3.40%. Support. I want to break down below that. And then if we do, we're likely to come down and retest the 786 at 2.85%. Likely by that time, we'll have the 200 moving average kind of coinciding with that. Maybe we go sideways, we break down, come down to it like that. And at that point, that's going to be whether we decide we're going to come back up and give these highs a retest, or that's the start of the downtrend on the bond yields. So we're going to have to watch that. If we go to the weekly chart, we still see the momentum crossing down, clearly crossing down. MACD red, TSI crossing down, the blue is above the pink. So bond yields, macro trend is down. And also too, if we break that key support over there, that's breaking the EMA ribbon on the weekly and would likely come down to 2.8%, but we could come down to retest these lows here around 2.6% because that 200 moving average will probably be coming up right up to it at that point as well too. So now let's go to the dollar. Let's go to the 12-hour chart. So the 12-hour chart for the dollar, we have this low to this high. We stretched it out. We had the 786. We broke below it. We could not find, we can't get above it. We get rejected. Right now, we are holding a little support on these past kind of areas where we found support, broke down below, got above support. We're back at it right now. So we're hanging on a thread. If I go to the daily chart, we can see that that momentum is kicking down still. Let me put that like that. Yep. So that momentum, if we're looking at the TSI, is headed down and it's about to cross down below the zero line. Look at last time on the daily chart, we went below the zero line. It was right at the start of our meltdown. So we could be at the start of meltdown round 2. We could very well be starting, something like this. Could very well be at the start of something like that. We come down here, we test 100, and then we start kind of grinding our way down until April. That could very well be the case, and that kind of coincides with the other charts that we look at as far as the melt up continuing here. If we look at the 3-day chart, we got rejected by that EMA ribbon, and we do see the stock RSI crossing down. The TSI is not above the zero line, and we're crossing back down here. So it's looking good for it. If we look at the 1-week chart, we got rejected straight from that EMA ribbon. Right now we have a candle below and we're not hanging on it as support. This is very solid. And if we see in 2 days and 9 hours, this candle closed below the EMA ribbon, that's even more kind of confirmation that, yeah, we're going to keep heading down here. We do see that the weekly stock RSI is now crossing down. Look at the last time it crossed down, October of 2022. Bam, right before we had a meltdown. Then the TSI crossing back down, MACD crossing back red, and we're below the zero line. So the dollar meltdown is in full effect. And I think we're going to see the result of that this week. Now, if we go to Bitcoin and we go to the 1-day chart, right now we're seeing the stock RSI. It's riding up on the top here. So the momentum's still there. We want to see it maintain up here because you can see when we kind of pressed at the top of the ceiling, that's when we had our big move back here. So we want to see us stay above here on the daily. If we go to the 12-hour chart, we were talking about how, hey, if we come down here, we need to find some support on the 50 line and then curl back up, because once we kind of cross down on the 50 line here, that's when we had the run was kind of muted and we went sideways for a bit. So we want to see this cross back up here on the stock RSI, and we want to see that TSI head vertical. We don't want to see it cross down. It's looking like it's gonna. See how it was like curling in and all of a sudden we see a little bit of an uptick. So it does look like we could start heading vertical and us print a dark green MACD bar in there as well too. If we go to the 1 day chart again, and let's go to the 3 day chart because this candle closes today. We're seeing the TSI cross up, the MACD, we're above the 0 line, and the stock RSI cross through the 50 line, as well as the pink is clearly above the blue. And that's all solid. This is all looking good as far as continuation. Like Bitcoin right now is at 28,500. I believe we're right about to set a new all-time high for 2023. Then you can see that we're getting close to pressing up to this RSI on the 3 day, but I want to check the 1 day. And I want to see, because we had that bearish divergence, I really would like to see the RSI come up here, retest the same level back in January, and maybe even head a little higher, because right now we do have that bearish divergence, but this could, easily get negated. We're actually going kind of like upwards, kind of like a bull flag type of thing right now. We're really just kind of pressing tight, and this does seem like it has all the kind of dynamics of going higher and having it be just one leg of a move, like kind of just going like bam, and then another one real quick. It does look like we're pressing up for that. So let me delete this. So if I go to the weekly chart, yeah, like we're looking at the weekly chart. What a candle that was set last week. Even the week before, we had the long wick, the body maintained above that body, pressed up hard. And right now we have a nice solid green candle. We have the stock RSI crossing up, the pink above the blue. We have the TSI officially getting above the 0 line. Last time we got above the 0 line on the weekly, boom, that was back in our 2019 run here. And then on the weekly right here, we crossed below, then crossed up. We had our little run, crossed below, crossed up. That was the start of our bull run. When we crossed below right here, that was the start of our bear market. And now we're crossing back up. So I'm still sticking with this, the start of our bull market. And then we had that RSI with the high and the low, equal lows, equal highs, and we just pressed up. So it's looking all solid for that. If we go to the 3 week chart, because that closes in 4 days as well too, we actually have stock RSI crossing up to the 50 line, TSI cross up, MACD as well too, and the RSI is popping above the 50 line. So very, very nice stuff. If we go to the 1 month chart, we're seeing that stock RSI. We just got a 1 month buy flash from the bonus indicator. Pretty solid there because it doesn't really flash often. And we're seeing that the stock RSI is going to confirm in 9 days if we can keep this momentum across above the 20 line. Last time we crossed right here, boom, that was the start of our kind of rally. We crossed right here, boom, that was the start of our rally. So everything that we're seeing right now is beautiful as far as the market melting up. Now let's go to Ethereum. And Ethereum's pressing on this critical area of resistance. If we go to the daily chart, boom, right there. We see some rejection, support, broke down below rejection. Then if we were to bring it down even just a little bit more, we saw rejection. Right now, we are actually above one of the key levels, 1800, but we're not yet out of the woods. I would say we need to get above 1850. Yeah, somewhere around 1850. Getting above there and holding that support would be solid for us to head up to the $2,500 area. So now if I go to XRP, and then I'm going to go into XLM. So XRP right now is sitting at around 45 cents. So yesterday we had covered it to a T. We had said, hey, the critical level on XRP is 49 cents. And let me hide the Stargate signals real quick, because we had grabbed this high down to this low, right? Stretched it out, bam, right at 49 cents. Bam, right there. So it's no surprise that we found a little bit of rejection in here, came back down, but I don't think we're done yet. I think we're just kind of gearing up for the next big pop. And so we had that, the macro high down to the macro low, right to the 786. But also that was coinciding with from this, what were we covering here? I think it was this high down to this low. Yeah, this high down to that low. So this mini move from January 23rd down to the bottom March 6th, the 1618 extension took us right out to 49 cents. So this is not out of the realms of what was supposed to happen. You know, you come up to a key kind of critical level as far as confluence for a 1618 extension of the breakout and the 786 retracement, you got to come back down a little bit to gain the juice to then rip through it. So I would say we rip through that. It's likely we're going to rip through 50 cents to 55 cents pretty smoothly, and we'll probably come up to 60 cents. We could even see us come up to 81 cents, because now what's the X area of confluence? The 1618 extension of the macro move, and then the 4236 extension of that mini move, coinciding right at the same spot around 80 to 83 cents right there. Then if we were to go all the way out and look at how that's such a critical level, right? And so looking for confluence on all angles, and that, that checks out. That was the area right here where we found some support, then rejection, support, rejection, support, below rejection, support, rejection, and then that would bring us right back up to that level. So that makes sense. So that's what I'd be targeting for a first target for XRP if it were to run up here even more. And we're looking and we're seeing stock RSI on the 3-day crossing up, TSI as well too. Every macro, medium, and micro time frame for XRP is screaming more upside as far as the momentum goes. So that's all solid. Now let's go to XLM and let's go to the daily chart. XLM found a little bit of resistance at the 200 moving average. It's looking very eerily similar to XDC and how we called XDC last week, exactly a week ago, and how the 200-day moving average, if we get above that, and then that would be the first time in a very long time that we got above the 200-day moving average, just like with XDC, and then XDC ripped up, and that would be probably equivalent to XLM hitting that 12.5, 13 cent level. I think in the video yesterday, we're calling for that as far as we took this high down to the low here. Bam. Yeah, 11.5 cents. And then plus this high down to the low. Yep. Another thing that coincides. So the 786 of the macro move plus the 1618 breakout of the micro move right there at 11.5 cents. That's where we're likely to be kind of melt up to. It's like a magnet, the 200-day moving average acted as this resistance, but we broke above the 786 of the mini move here. And right now we came down to kind of retest it as some support. So I'd like to see us hold that 0.092, 0.09 level so we can continue melting up further here. And it does look like that to be the case. The 1 day is crossing up above the TSI. The MACD is good. Let's look at the 2-day. Yep, crossing up. 3-day, about to cross up as well too. So all looks pretty solid for more momentum to the upside. But 11.5 cents is going to be the critical level. Then the next one is going to be around 15 cents, coinciding with that 3-day 200 moving average as well too. So we'll put that level up there. So that's what I'm seeing as far as the markets. Let's kind of shuffle back to the dollar, see where it's at. The short-term time frame, 30-minute chart. I'd really like to see us break below that 103, because then we're going to melt up in crypto. Let's look at where Bitcoin's at. It's at 28,600. So we're 28,700. We just set new all-time highs for Bitcoin in 2023 as we speak. So interesting times ahead. It's going to be another crazy day, but we got to get used to it because there's not one day that's not crazy in crypto. So that's going to be it, guys. And I'll see you in the Discord. The link will be in the bio. See you over there. And then I'll see you in the next video.